Hello dear students, we have completed 4 units of fluid mechanics before lockdown. Now, today I am going to take unit number 6, that is boundary layer theory. I have divided this unit into 3 sections. In the first section, we are going to see the formation of boundary layer, the reason behind it, as well as the terms involved under that, and numericals based on the boundary layer theory. In the second part, we are going to take lift and drag forces acting on the body due to the shear stress developed because of the boundary layer and the numericals based on it. In the last part, that is boundary layer separation and the methods to control this separation, as well as the numericals based on this separation of the boundary layer. Now, let us start with the first section, that is the formation of boundary layer. If you see in the figure, there is a solid body and that body is in stationary condition. There is free stream of air or any fluid is flowing over that stationary body, solid body. Now, when this fluid is striking to that solid body, then the velocity suddenly becomes zero at the edge of the solid body. And this condition, as you know, that it is called as a no slip condition. So along the edge of the solid body, the velocity of the fluid because of no slip condition is also zero, as the solid body is in stationary condition. Now as you move along the y direction, then you will see that the velocity is going on increasing in y direction. This is because of the Newton's law of viscosity, which we have already studied in the first unit. If you see the profile of the velocity slowly or gradually goes on increasing in y direction, and the region between this zero velocity to the maximum velocity, that is nothing but this free stream velocity, the region behind these two is nothing but it is called as a boundary layer. Now our main focus is to study about this boundary layer and about the velocity variation in this boundary layer. As we know from the Newton's law of viscosity, that whenever there is a velocity gradient across the fluid, there is the formation of shear stress, which is nothing but the retardation force which retards the fluid, and that force is called as a drag force. Now let us understand the terms involved in this boundary layer, such as boundary layer thickness, displacement thickness, momentum thickness, and energy thickness. First of all, you should understand the concept of boundary layer very well. First of all, let it be clear that the boundary layer is an unavoidable phenomenon. Means there is not a single example in the world that where there is no boundary layer. Boundary layer is an inherent phenomenon associated with any type of solid body. So it is always there. So we can't avoid the boundary layer formation. Boundary layer formation will be there. Only we can have some methods to deal with that. So first, as we have studied that this boundary layer is formed between the zero velocity and maximum velocity in the previous figure. Now if you see in this slide in this slide that the boundary layer which is formed over the flat plate is shown by a thickness delta as shown in figure. Now as we see in the figure, the delta goes on increasing in horizontal x direction. That means this delta is a function of x, and this delta is nothing but it is called as a boundary layer thickness. Now by the definition, it is nothing but the distance from the boundary of a solid body measured in y direction to the point where the velocity of the fluid is approximately equal to 0.99 times the free stream velocity. That means near about equal to the maximum velocity of flow. So in the figure, delta represents the boundary layer thickness, and as you see, this boundary layer thickness is a function of x. So as x goes on increasing in horizontal direction, as you go along the length of the plate, the boundary layer thickness also goes on increasing. Now as we have studied that the velocity variation in y direction is a parabolic curve, and the nature of the velocity profile is shown in the slide in front of you. It is u by capital U, that is free stream velocity, is equal to 2 into y by delta minus y by delta square. So the velocity profile is of this form, or the equation is of parabolic nature. In the next slide, you see that as the boundary layer goes on increasing along the length of the plate, depending upon that, the layer is classified into three types. Like we have classified the laminar flow, transitional flow, and turbulent flow. So here also, when the velocity is less in initial condition, then the layer, that is the boundary layer, is called as a laminar boundary layer. As further you go on along the length of the plate, the velocity goes on increasing, so that layer becomes the transitional boundary layer, and the last layer where the velocity is maximum, that is nothing but your turbulent boundary layer. And one more region is there which is occurring in turbulent boundary layer but very close to the plate boundary of the solid, that behaves like a laminar one because their velocity variation is in laminar region. So these four regions are there for any boundary layer formation. So let us study the terms involved under this boundary layer theory. Now I have told you already that this boundary layer gives you the velocity variation across y direction, and as far as there is velocity variation, there is a shear stress developed across that region, and this shear stress is nothing but the drag force. What do you mean by drag force? That we will see soon, but let me tell you that this shear stress is nothing but it is the force exerted by that fluid on the solid body, or it is the plate, stationary plate. Now because of this, there is the opposition to the forward motion of the plate, and that force is called as a drag force. Now let us study what do you mean by the different terms inside this boundary layer. So first of all, because of this drag, or because of this opposition to the motion, the reduction in the mass, momentum, and energy happens as we all see that the velocity is varying from 0 to maximum velocity. So as if there is no plate, then the velocity would have been only u, capital U. But now because of the interception of the plate to the free stream velocity or free stream of air, the velocity has reduced from capital U to the normal value or small u. So this variation of velocity gives you the reduction in mass or in the mass flow rate, and that difference between the actual mass and the maximum mass which could have been obtained without boundary layer, that difference is known as the displacement thickness. So let us study the different terms involved in this boundary layer. As I have already told you that due to the formation of boundary layer, there is a reduction in mass flow rate, momentum and kinetic energy of the flowing fluid. Depending upon this, the boundary layer thickness can be measured in terms of displacement thickness, that is reduction in mass, momentum thickness, reduction in momentum, and reduction in energy, that is called as a energy thickness. So the concept is very simple. If there is no boundary layer, then the energy, then the mass, momentum and energy which you are going to get, it is maximum. But because of the boundary layer, there is a reduction in mass, momentum and energy, and whatever is the reduction, that is calculated in terms of some thickness, and that thickness are nothing but, in terms of mass it is given as displacement thickness, in terms of momentum it is said as a momentum thickness, and in case of energy it is called as a energy thickness. So let us define this displacement thickness, momentum thickness and energy thickness. Displacement thickness, it is nothing but the distance measured perpendicular to the boundary of the solid body by which boundary should be displaced to compensate for the reduction in mass flow rate for a flowing fluid due to formation of the boundary layer. Already I have discussed that because of boundary layer the mass flow has reduced, and that reduction in the mass flow rate is given by the displacement thickness, and there is the continuity equation used for finding this displacement thickness. So we have not taken it in detail, but let us only see the formula to calculate the displacement thickness. So the displacement thickness, it is generally denoted by delta star, and it is calculated by the integration of 1 minus small u by capital U into dy from 0 to delta. So this formula you have to remember because it is required in the numericals also. The second case, momentum thickness, already it is also defined as the distance measured perpendicular to the boundary of the solid body by which the boundary should be displaced to compensate for the reduction in momentum of the flowing fluid due to formation of boundary layer. Now again, by balancing the momentum equation, that is the Newton's second law of motion, conservation of momentum, that is theta is equal to, from integration from 0 to delta, u small u upon capital U into 1 minus small u by capital U into dy. So this formula also we have to remember. The third quantity, that is called as the energy thickness, which is denoted by delta star star, and it is again defined as the distance measured perpendicular to the boundary of the solid body by which boundary should be displaced to compensate for the reduction in kinetic energy, and the formula for that, it is in front of you. Delta double star is equal to 0 to delta small u by capital U into bracket 1 minus small u square upon capital U square into dy. Friends, I request all of you to please remember this formula for displacement thickness, momentum thickness and energy thickness, because in the exam you are having one numerical to calculate all these terms for boundary layer theory. So let us see some numerical based on this three thickness. So if you see Let us take the numerical on this boundary layer. Find the displacement thickness, momentum thickness and energy thickness for the velocity distribution in the boundary layer given by small u by capital U is equal to 2 into y by delta minus y by delta square. It's the same velocity profile we are going to take. Now I have told you that the boundary layer is expressed in terms of velocity inside that boundary layer, and that velocity is expressed as a function of y, that is the distance perpendicular in perpendicular direction, and capital U, it is the free stream velocity, and delta, it is the boundary layer thickness. Now the numericals are very simple for boundary layer theory because there is only formula and you have to just put the values in that formula and get the answer. So first, the displacement thickness, as we have seen the formula for displacement thickness, delta star is equal to 0 to delta 1 minus small u upon capital U dy. So small u upon capital U, the velocity profile is given to you. It is 2 into y by delta minus y by delta square. Just put the value of small u by capital U inside the integral. Integrate over 0 to delta and you will find the answer for displacement thickness. When you solve this integration, you will get and apply the limits, you will get the answer for displacement thickness as delta by 3. So the displacement thickness is 1/3 of the boundary layer thickness. So that is the answer for the displacement thickness. Next, we have to calculate the momentum thickness. Again, you have to remember the formula for momentum thickness. Just the formula for momentum thickness or energy thickness, they are near about same to that of the displacement thickness, which we have seen that it is u by capital U into 1 minus u upon capital U. That is, for momentum thickness, just you have to multiply by small u upon capital U to the term 1 minus small u by capital U of the displacement thickness. When you again integrate this, just put the value of small u upon capital U, that is the velocity profile equation, 2y by delta minus y square by delta square. You will find the answer for the integration. When you solve the integration, you will get the momentum thickness as 2 delta upon 50. You have to carefully solve the integration. And last, that is the energy thickness, delta double star. Again, the formula for it we have already seen. It is 0 to delta small u upon capital U, but inside the bracket now not 1 minus u upon capital U, it is 1 minus u square small u square upon capital U square, and integrate it over 0 to delta. Okay. So after performing the number of steps of the integration, you will again get the energy thickness again in terms of boundary layer thickness, that is 22 delta upon 105. So the main point here is that the three formulae for displacement thickness, momentum thickness and energy thickness, that you have to remember and just put the value of velocity profile equation and integrate it to get the thickness. So this is the numerical on boundary layer theory. So I think we have come to an end of the first part of this unit. I have told you that we have divided it into 3 parts. So first part is boundary layer theory, the reason behind it and the terms involved in it. So now let us come to the second part of this boundary layer, that is the forces on the submerged bodies or on the solid bodies. Now already I have told you that when this fluid is heating to the solid body, it is exerting some force on the solid body, and that force is nothing but it is acting in the normal direction to that body. Okay. But when you resolve that force along horizontal and vertical direction, then you are getting two components of that forces, and out of that the horizontal component is called as a drag force and the vertical component is called as a lift force. So if you see in the figure, When the fluid is hitting to the solid body, which is kept at some angle with the horizontal, then that fluid is striking the body in normal direction, to the inclined body, you can see. So if you see the normal component, that is Fr, is the normal component of the force, or it is the normal force acting on the inclined solid body, and then you are going to resolve this normal force into two components, one horizontal and one perpendicular. So the horizontal component, as already I have told you, it is a drag force, and the vertical is the lift force. So I think from the diagram the two forces are clear to you. Now the question is how to find this drag force and the lift force. Now there is a very big theory for finding the drag and lift force, that you have to use the momentum equation, that is the Newton's second law of motion, as we have studied in your unit number 3, that is the fluid dynamics, okay, to calculate the forces, okay. Under that we have used the Newton's second law of motion, that is nothing but Euler's equation of motion. Now here also you have to use that equations, but after doing the rigorous calculations you are going to end at some formula, and instead of going through that long step calculations, what is important from exam point of view, that only I am taking in this unit only, that is in this topic. So I have directly written the expression for the drag and lift force. Now as you know that force is nothing but stress multiplied by area. If it is normal force, then normal stress multiplied by the area. If it is a normal area, if it is a tangential force, then it is a tangential stress or shear stress multiplied by the shear area. Like that we are going to find the drag and lift force in this case. So first the drag force is simply it is given by area into the stress, but here the stress is expressed in terms of some quantity, that is given by rho u square by 2. So in the expression Fd is equal to Cd into capital A into rho u square by 2 that you see in the slide, in that expression it is calculated as area. Capital A is nothing but the area perpendicular to that particular direction, projected area, multiplied by the shear stress. If it is shear, if it is drag, it is shear stress naturally, that is expressed by rho u square by 2. And Cd is nothing but it is the coefficient of drag, okay. As already I have told you that there are rigorous calculations in calculating this drag force, but combining all this we have taken a constant, okay, in that equation, that is called as Cd. For the time being you only remember the equation Fd is equal to Cd into capital A rho u square by 2, and Fl is equal to Cl into capital A rho u square by 2, okay. So based on this there are numericals, and very simple numericals on lift and drag, because the formula are simple, everything is given to you, just you have to calculate the drag and lift force and thereby the power required for that, okay. So let us take the numericals, and remember after calculating the drag and lift force you can take the resultant to calculate the resultant force on the body, as shown in the slide. Fr is equal to under root of Fd square plus Fl square. So let us take first problem based on the lift and drag. A flat plate 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter area moves at 50 km per hour in stationary air of density 1.15 kg per meter cube. Full stop. If the coefficient of drag and lift are 0.15 and 0.75 respectively, determine lift force, drag force resultant force and power required to keep the plate in motion. So it's a straightforward problem. In that, area of the plate is given, velocity of the plate is given. Now in this case, the fluid is not moving, the plate is moving. So it is either or. Either the body will move, the fluid will be in stationary condition, or in some numericals the fluid will move and the body will be in stationary condition, vice versa. But there is no much effect, because according to Newton's third law, both are exerting force on each other. So no problem in that. Whatever is the moving body, that you have to take as the velocity of that body. So let us solve this numerical. In this numerical, as we see that the area is 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter, CD is 0.15, and rho is also given 1.15. So just you have to calculate the velocity 50 kilometer per hour. You have to convert it into meter per second. So if you see the solution, area is calculated as 2.25 meter square, velocity is coming as 13.89 meter per second, rho is 1.15 kilogram per meter cube, CD is 0.15 and CL is 0.75. Just you have to use the formula for drag as FD is equal to CD into capital A into rho U square by 2. Put all the values that are given already and just calculate the drag force. It is coming as 37.44, and calculate the lift force, which is coming as 187.20 Newton. So if you see the force, the lift force is more than the drag force in this case. So it is a good sign that the lift force is always helping the body for lifting in air, for lifting the body in air. And the drag force, it is the opposition to the motion of the body, like in case of aeroplane. So drag force should be as low as possible, so that you will require less fuel for the aeroplane. The resultant force you can calculate by FD square plus FL square. Under root of that, it will give